Hey guys, I'm Lindsay. I'm 29 and I'm a recovering heroin addict. Today I've been sober 123 days and I'm here to share my experience, strength, and hope in hopes that somebody hears my story and could possibly take something from it that could help them. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm the oldest of four girls. I grew up in a pretty normal home. Neither of my parents are addicts. My mom and dad got divorced shortly after my little sister was born. My mom got remarried and had two more girls, which are my baby sisters. Grew up in a small town called Finneytown in the middle of Cincinnati. I played sports, had pretty decent grades, and definitely didn't cause my parents any trouble, the whole time I was in school. I graduated in 2005. After I graduated, I started at UC and majored in graphic design. In high school, I smoked a little weed, drank a little beer. After I graduated, I met my kid's dad. And for the past 10 years, I've been in two relationships that were pretty hectic and extremely abusive. I won't get too much into that, but just know that's probably the reason, one of the reasons that my drug use became so heavy. When I started out, like I said, I was just drinking beer and smoking weed, and it eventually went to pills and coke, and from there, it went to Oxy 80s and Opanas, and from there it went to heroin. Let's see, my children's father choked me unconscious, and there was a pretty big altercation, and he went to prison for 3 years, and that's when I met my ex, and that's when my heroin use became pretty predominant. This whole time I've had my kids with me. I've never left my kids' side. So as you can imagine, I haven't been the best mom because I've been in active addiction. My kids are 6 and 8. They probably know a lot more than anybody should, but they're actually really great kids, and kind of like me, the past and everything we've been put through kind of make us who we are today. About 6 months ago, I got pulled over. My children were in my car. My ex and I had heroin, paraphernalia, weed, a little bit of crack, and meth in our car. And my ex took the rap for the whole situation and caught the charges for it. And my car was impounded. After that, I pretty much thought that I was invincible, and my heroin addiction grew even worse. I had moved to Morristown, which is about 15 minutes from Hillsboro, and I moved in with a friend of mine, and it was just me and her and my two kids, and we were driving from Morristown to Cincinnati 3-4 times a day just to cop our dope. So as you can imagine, my problem was pretty much in full-blown mode at this time. Mother's Day weekend, somebody overdosed at my house and I wasn't there. She called 911, and when the cops got there, she tried to hide some paraphernalia and got tampering with evidence and spent 64 days in county jail. After she went to jail, I went home, and the house was mine and my kids, just us, and I turned it into a trap house, where you could pretty much get anything and everything you ever wanted, and if you wanted to get high and party, my house was the spot. On July 16th, I found one of my best friends overdosed in my bathroom. He passed away later on that night. I called my parents, and I openly admitted that I had a heroin problem. My parents knew that something was up. I'd show up to holiday events, birthday parties, just show up in general, and I would be nodding out, and my excuse was always I took Benadryl because my allergies were really bad or I was extremely tired. My parents aren't stupid. and neither are my sisters. They knew, they just couldn't prove what was going on. I pretty much, towards the end, had lost everything. I was losing my house. I had lost my car. My kids weren't going to school because I couldn't get up. It got real dark real quick for me. On July 18th, 2 days after my friend passed away, I was in a treatment facility and admitted that I was powerless over my problems. They say you keep what you have by giving it away, and that's an extreme passion of mine now. I am not embarrassed to tell anybody what I've been through or, what I go through on a daily basis, because you never know when somebody needs to hear what you have to say. I found God while in treatment. A cliche saying is let go, let God. And I literally tell myself that every day. Going into treatment, I thought it was going to be a joke. There was no way I was about to hang out with a bunch of girls and be able to do this and leave my kids. But I prayed for the strength, and God gave it to me. And I made it 90 days in a treatment facility, and I just could probably never thank those people enough because they have no idea what they did. And, they say it's all within inside of you, but, it takes a certain special somebody to, help pull you out of that dark hole. My sister got involved with Rockstar Recovery while I was in treatment. So, Chris and Jess have helped me tremendously, probably more than they will ever know. And I know that it's hard while you're in active addiction to think that you can make it out. But I'm living proof that it happens. I really thought that I was going to die in active addiction. I just thought that was the end all be all of me. And, I was going to have to live like that for the rest of my life. I didn't know about treatment. I didn't know about recovery. I didn't know about sobriety. I didn't know about NA and AA. There's a whole big world of recovery and sobriety people out there. I feel like I have some of the best sober support, like some of my best friends I've met in recovery. It's made my life so much easier, and, God continues to bless me on a daily. Like, I just cannot even start to describe, the good things that have happened to me. My parents are a godsend. They can take care of my children along with my two littlest sisters. My sister right under me is probably my biggest supporter. I think she was probably on the phone with Chris and Jess every day while I was in rehab. My family is super supportive, and I understand that not a lot of people have that, so I'm extremely grateful for what I do have. I have a pretty tight-knit family now. In active addiction, I didn't speak to them. I was out of sight, out of mind, and it's something I regret. But you can't control the situation, and you definitely can't change the past. But I know that I can change the future in just my actions. I have a great relationship with my parents now. I have a great relationship with my little sisters. I've given them something to look up to. I don't often hear my mom say that she's proud of me, which, I don't really blame her. But I hear weekly that my mom is proud of me and what I'm doing. So, for anyone who thinks that there's not a way out and that, that sobriety and recovery doesn't work, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. I can wake up now and not be dope sick. I can do the little things like clean the house or do the dishes, without putting one in me. And I constantly have to remind myself, what's going to happen if I do, because I can lose it as quick as I'm getting it. We don't mess all this up in one day. It's not going to be all fixed in one day. But, I played the tape all the way through. I know what happens if I use, and I know what I lose. And right now I got a pretty good life. and I'm only 4 months sober, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like in a year or 5 years or 10 years. But just know that you don't have to do this alone. There's a huge community of us in recovery and in sobriety that always have an open ear or a shoulder to cry on, or, you know, you never know who's been there and who's done that. And with that, that's pretty much all I got for right now. And if anybody has any questions or ever needs to talk, I'm here. Thanks.